The restaurant fell silent when Olivia Hart, a 32-year-old millionaire heiress, stood up in front of the entire crowd, her diamond bracelet catching the light. "I need someone to play my husband for 24 hours, she announced, her voice trembling. Yet defiant. People gasped, laughed, whispered. But one man didn't look away. Jack Miller, a 37-year-old single father in a worn leather jacket, raised his eyes from his daughter's coloring book. And in that second, the world shifted. Before we dive in, drop a comment with where you're watching from, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more videos like this. Let's begin. The tension was thick. A dozen wealthy men smirked, some even clapping mockingly. Olivia's father, Gregory Hart, the cold-faced tycoon behind Hart Industries, leaned back in his chair. "Olivia, stop embarrassing yourself. No real man would ever agree to such nonsense," he sneered. Her hands shook, but she kept her chin high. "I don't need just any man. I need one who knows what loyalty actually looks like." Her eyes swept across the room until they landed on Jack. Jack swallowed hard. He wasn't dressed like the others, just jeans and boots still dusted from construction work. His daughter Lily, an 8-year-old with big brown eyes, tugged at his sleeve. "Daddy, she looks sad," she whispered. Olivia's voice broke as she tried to smile. "One day, just one day. I'll pay whatever it takes," Gregory laughed. "Pay? That's all you know how to do, throw money around. What kind of man would sacrifice his dignity for your childish stunt?" Jack pushed his chair back, the scrape echoing louder than the applause around the table. His heart pounded, but Lily's little fingers squeezed his hand, grounding him. He rose to his feet, his deep voice cutting through the whispers. "I'll do it." Gasps rippled. Olivia's father nearly spit out his drink. "You, a broke construction worker? You think you're fit to stand next to my daughter?" Jack didn't flinch. He looked straight at Olivia. "I don't care about your money. I care that my daughter learns kindness isn't for sale. If you need someone to stand by you for a day, I'll stand. Not for the paycheck, for you." Olivia's breath caught. No one had ever spoken to her like that, without calculation, without greed. For a second, she saw not the worn boots or rough hands, but the strength behind his words. The room erupted with murmurs, half in disbelief, half in amusement. But Olivia's lips curled into the first genuine smile she'd shown all evening. Her father slammed his fist on the table. "This is ridiculous. You're humiliating the family." But Olivia's eyes didn't leave Jack's. "Then consider me humiliated," she whispered, her voice steady. "Because he's the only one who had the courage to say yes." As the crowd buzzed, Jack felt Lily tug at his shirt again. "Daddy." You made her smile. And for the first time in years, Jack felt like maybe, just maybe, his kindness was about to change not just her world, but his The luxury hotel ballroom buzzed louder than a hornet's nest. Guests craned their necks, whispering, phones discreetly raised to capture the scandal playing out live. Olivia Hart, daughter of the ruthless Gregory Hart, had just chosen a stranger, a construction worker, to play her husband for 24 hours. Her father's glare could have split stone. "Do you have any idea what you've just done?" Gregory spat, rising from his seat. His expensive suit stretched against the tension in his frame. "Do you understand who you're humiliating right now?" Olivia straightened, her chin quivering only slightly. "Yes, father, you." Gasps filled the room like oxygen feeding a fire. Jack felt Lily squeeze his hand tighter, her tiny nails digging into his skin. He knew walking away would be safer, but something about Olivia's defiance, about her trembling courage in a room filled with sharks, wouldn't let him. He stepped forward, placing himself squarely between Olivia and her father. "She asked for someone willing to stand by her," Jack said, his voice deep, steady. "So I stood." Gregory scoffed, his laugh cold enough to chill the room. "Do You even know what you're signing up for, boy. This isn't a fairy tale. This is a world where your cheap boots don't belong. You'll last an hour before you embarrass yourself." Jack clenched his jaw, but his reply was measured. "I'm not here for your approval. I'm here because she needed someone." Olivia's eyes softened, gratitude flickering beneath her guarded exterior. For once, someone wasn't trying to exploit her wealth. For once, someone chose her, not her fortune. The master of ceremonies, sensing the crowd's hunger for more drama, quickly leaned into his mic. "Well then, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like Ms. Hart has found her husband for a day. Shall we toast to this unexpected union?" Glasses clinked reluctantly, though whispers of disbelief filled the air. Olivia held her champagne high but didn't sip. Instead, she leaned close to Jack, her voice low and trembling. "You didn't have to do this," she whispered. Jack shook his head. "Maybe not. But someone had to remind him that you're more than just his property." Her lips parted, eyes shimmering as though no one had ever said those words to her before. Gregory stormed off to the corner, phone pressed to his ear, already plotting damage control. Olivia exhaled, shoulders trembling with the weight of years of his control. Jack noticed. "You okay?" "I don't remember the last time someone asked me that," she admitted quietly. "Usually it's about business or appearances or how much money I'll bring to the table, never just me." Jack glanced at Lily, who sat coloring quietly at a side table. "Well, my daughter reminds me every day that kindness is free. Doesn't cost a thing." Olivia smiled faintly, the kind of smile that cracks a hardened surface. But before she could reply, a tall man in a silver suit approached. Matthew Langston, one of Gregory's top business allies, and, from the smug smirk on his face, a man who had been circling Olivia like a vulture. Well, Matthew drawled, eyeing Jack from head to toe. "So this is your choice?" A man who looks like he couldn't afford the valet fee outside. Jack remained silent, his jaw tightening. Olivia stepped forward, her tone sharp. "Leave him alone, Matthew." But Matthew only chuckled. "No offense, Olivia, but if this is your idea of rebellion, it's pathetic. Do you really think this handyman is husband material? He doesn't even own a tie." Jack finally met Matthew's eyes. Owning a tie doesn't make you a man. How you treat people does. The crowd murmured again, some hiding smirks, others shifting uncomfortably. Olivia's chest swelled with an unfamiliar pride. Matthew scoffed and walked away, muttering, "This farce won't last until morning." Olivia turned to Jack, her cheeks flushed. "Why do you keep defending me? You don't even know me." Jack met her gaze, his expression steady. "Because sometimes strangers see what family refuses to. I don't know your story, Olivia. But I see the way you look when your father talks to you, like you're smaller than you are. Nobody deserves that." Her throat tightened. Nobody had ever dared speak against Gregory Hart, not even her supposed friends. She blinked back tears, masking them with a faint laugh. "Careful, Jack. You might just trick me into believing good men still exist." Jack smiled softly. "No trick, just truth." The night dragged on with forced smiles and hollow congratulations. Gregory avoided Olivia, whispering furiously into phones. Olivia stayed close to Jack, the weight of curious stares pressing against her every move. Yet for the first time in years, she didn't feel entirely alone. Later, when the ballroom began to empty, Olivia slipped away to the hotel terrace. Jack followed, hands in his pockets, the city lights stretching endlessly below. "Why did you ask for this?" Jack finally asked, leaning on the railing beside her. "Why a husband for a day?" Olivia hesitated, then let out a shaky breath. "Because my father doesn't believe I'll ever find someone real. To him, I'm just an extension of his empire. Tonight, he mocked me in front of half the city, and I snapped. I wanted to prove him wrong, even if it was only for one day." Jack studied her profile, the fragile strength behind her words. You don't need to prove anything to him. You just need to start believing you're worth more than his approval. Her eyes glistened, a mix of gratitude and disbelief. You make it sound so simple. It's not simple, Jack said, his voice low, but it's possible. Asterisk, she turned to face him. And what about you, Jack? Why step into this? Why risk your reputation, your daughter seeing all this chaos? Jack glanced at the terrace door where Lily was curled up on a chair, sketchbook in hand. Because I want her to see that when someone needs help, you don't measure the cost. You step up, even if it's messy. Olivia's chest tightened. She had spent her life surrounded by wealth, power, and pretense. Yet here stood a man with nothing but principle, and it felt like the rarest treasure in the room. Suddenly, the terrace doors slammed open. Gregory stormed out, his face red with fury. Enough, he barked. This ends now. Olivia, you will come with me. This charade is over. Olivia froze, her fists clenching. For years she'd obeyed, but something about Jack's presence, his quiet courage, anchored her. No, father, she said firmly. For once, I'm not leaving with you. Gregory's eyes burned with disbelief. You dare defy me? For him? Asterisk. Jack stepped forward, his tone calm but unyielding. She doesn't belong to you. She belongs to herself. For a heartbeat. Silence reigned. Then Gregory's lip curled. You'll regret this, both of you. He stormed off, the echo of his shoes fading into the night. Olivia trembled, breath shallow. Jack gently offered his hand. You don't have to face him alone anymore, not tonight. For the first time, Olivia took it. And in that fragile grip, something unspoken passed between them, something stronger than any contract her father could draft. Asterisk. The night was far from over. By the time Jack escorted Olivia back inside, the whispers had grown into full-blown speculation. Some thought Olivia had lost her mind. Others suspected it was a publicity stunt. But Gregory Hart wasn't a man who let humiliation slide. Jack could feel it, like a storm brewing, the kind that rattles windows before the first drop of rain. And he was right. As the orchestra played its final notes and guests prepared to leave, a security guard approached Jack. Sir, Mr. Hart requests your presence. Alone. Olivia gripped Jack's arm instantly. Don't go, she whispered. Jack looked at her steady. I'll be fine. Stay with Lily. Her lip trembled, but she nodded. The guard led Jack down a corridor lined with gold-framed portraits until they entered a dim private lounge. Gregory was waiting, whiskey glass in hand, his tie loosened, but his eyes sharp as ever. So, Gregory began, swirling the amber liquid. This is the knight in shining armor who thinks he can play my daughter's husband for a day. Jack stood still, his hands loose at his sides. I'm not playing anything. I said I'd stand by her, and I meant it. Gregory chuckled, dark and low. You think this is noble? You think standing there with calloused hands and pretty words makes you a hero? Let me educate you. Men like me, we build empires. Men like you beg for scraps. Jack's jaw flexed. I don't beg, I work. And I raise my daughter to believe respect matters more than money. Gregory's smirk faded slightly, but his venom didn't. He set his glass down hard. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to walk away. Quietly, I'll cut you a check so large you won't ever swing a hammer again. In return, you leave Olivia's side and never speak to her again. The offer hung heavy in the air. Jack thought of Lily, of bills piling up on the kitchen counter, of the sacrifices he made daily. That money would change everything. But then he thought of Olivia, of her trembling hands when she defied her father, of her fragile smile when he said she was worth more. Jack shook his head slowly. I'm not for sale, and neither is she. Gregory's face hardened. Careful, Miller. Men who defy me don't last long in this city. Jack stepped closer, his voice calm but edged with steel. Then maybe this city needs more men willing to defy you. For the first time in years, Gregory Hart didn't have a response. His jaw worked, but words failed. Jack turned and walked out, leaving Gregory in stunned silence. Back in the ballroom, Olivia rushed to meet him. What happened? What did he say? Jack brushed it off with a half-smile. He offered me money to leave you. Her breath caught. And you? Jack's eyes locked on hers, steady as stone. I told him no, because some things can't be bought. Her throat tightened, tears threatening. Jack, why are you doing this for me? Before he could answer, Lily tugged at Olivia's dress. Because he's my daddy, she said innocently, her big eyes wide. And he always keeps his promises. Olivia's heart cracked wide open. She knelt, hugging Lily gently, the child's. Warmth searing through her like sunlight breaking ice. Morning came faster than either of them expected. The 24 hours were nearly up. Olivia's life would soon return to the gilded cage of her father's empire, unless she found the courage to change it. But Gregory wasn't finished. As Jack and Olivia walked through the grand hotel lobby with Lily at their side, cameras flashed. A group of reporters swarmed, microphones shoved forward. Olivia, who is this man? Is this your secret husband? Gregory Hart says you've disgraced the family. Care to comment? Olivia froze, panic in her eyes. Her father had unleashed the press to crush her. Jack stepped forward, shielding her with his frame. His deep voice cut through the chaos. No more questions. Give her space. But the cameras kept flashing, questions growing sharper, crueler. Lily whimpered, clinging to Jack's leg. That was the moment Jack made a choice, not the one Gregory expected, not the one the crowd anticipated. He pulled Olivia gently into his arms, his voice steady yet soft. If you want me to walk away now, I will. But if you want me to stand, I'll stand until they stop talking, until he stops controlling you, until you believe you're free. Olivia's breath hitched. Nobody had ever given her a choice. Not her father, not her so-called friends, not her business allies. But Jack, a man with nothing to gain and everything to lose, was offering it without condition. Her answer came not in words, but in the way her trembling hand slid into his. I don't want you to walk away, she whispered. Not now. Not ever. Gasps rippled through the lobby, reporters scrambling to capture every second. Gregory stormed in moments later, fury burning across his face. Olivia, stop this insanity. But this time, Olivia didn't tremble. She lifted her chin, standing tall beside Jack. No, father. For once, I'm choosing for myself. And I choose him. Jack didn't speak, but his arm tightened around her shoulders, solid and unshakable. Lily peeked out from behind his leg, her voice small but clear. Mister, you're not scary anymore. You're just loud. The crowd erupted in laughter. Even the reporters smirked, their questions faltering. Gregory's face turned crimson. He opened his mouth to unleash another tirade, but Olivia's hand shot up, silencing him. You've controlled me my whole life, father, but not anymore. If standing with Jack makes me a disgrace, then I'd rather be disgraced than owned. Her words fell like thunder. For the first time, Gregory's empire of intimidation cracked. The press surged with new energy, snapping photos, shouting questions. But Olivia didn't care. She clung to Jack, her voice breaking. You melted my heart, Jack. No one's ever stood for me like this. Jack bent, whispering against her hair. You don't need a fake husband, Olivia. You need someone who'll fight for you even when no one's watching. I'll be that man. If you'll let me. Her tears spilled freely now, not from fear but from release. Yes, I'll let you. Lily giggled, tugging at their hands until the three of them stood together, linked. A family, maybe not by blood, maybe not by law, but real all the same. As the cameras clicked, the world finally saw Olivia Hart, not as her father's puppet, but as a woman standing with the only man brave enough to choose her for who she was, not what she had.